Good evening, everyone. If you are a graduate of this institution and you got your degree before 2000, I think you're considered a colonial. Let me hear you say, "Go Colonials." Okay. That had a lot of energy to it. If you graduated after the year 2000, you are a Bearcat. Let me hear you say, "Go Bearcats." All right, from up here, the Colonials won. The Colonials, give yourselves a hand. I want to welcome you all, each of you, to the Binghamton University Alumni Association 2025 Special Recognition Award Ceremony. And okay, you can clap, that's good. For so many of you, I want to say welcome back to Binghamton. This is your home and it's where you belong, and I'm glad that you're able to come back and spend some time with us. My name is Matt Winston. I'm the Executive Director for Alumni Engagement, and I am honored to serve Binghamton University as the Chief Alumni Officer. I am just a few days short of completing year 3 in this role. Thanks. I call it I'm coming to the end of my junior year here at Binghamton, and it's been a great ride so far. It remains an honor and a real pleasure for me to meet our alumni, whether it's on campus or whether it's at places across the country, where our graduates live and where they work. Our alumni are doing amazing things, or sometimes I call them amaze-being things because it rhymes. And they're doing them in their careers and they're doing them in their communities. What they accomplish brings great pride to the university. And tonight we will be celebrating just a few of those individuals and their amazing accomplishments. I encourage each of you to read about tonight's honorees in the program booklets. Through their collective efforts, they have impacted thousands upon thousands of people. They educate our kids. They're influencing today's and tomorrow's healthcare. They are constantly inventing or creating, and they give back to our university, a place that has fueled their success in life. What these alumni have accomplished since graduating is awesome, and it's inspiring, but quite frankly, not surprising. For you see, this university owns a treasured legacy of producing individuals whose contributions to their communities and their professions are meaningful and impactful. Binghamton is a university which has a reputation for, and even an expectation of, contributing to the successes of its graduates. And there is not another institution, as I often say, of higher education in the state of New York more deserving of your time, your talent, your treasure, and your testimony than your alma mater. As I always I'm going to take all the applause I can get. As I always say, and people may get sick of hearing me say this all the time, but whether you consider yourself a graduate of Binghamton University, SUNY Binghamton, Harper College, or even Triple Cities College, or whether you call yourself a Bearcat or a Colonial, you are part of the one Binghamton University community. In just a little while, we will recognize achievements of just a sampling of the more than 163,000 degree holders that this university has produced over the past 79 years. In addition to those who will receive awards this evening, we're blessed to have former award winners joining us this evening. If you have received one of the Alumni Association's signature awards in the past, can I ask you to please stand so that we might recognize each of you? Thank you for being here this evening. All that we have accomplished and we've arrived here because of incredible leadership and support, none more so than from the university's president, Harvey Stenger. Thank you, Mr. President, for championing all of our engagement pursuits. And I am personally thankful to have such a strong group of professionals on my team who work hard every day, all year round, and especially this evening to make tonight's event the success that it is. And to the alums in the room, you are served by a tremendous and dedicated cadre of alumni who make up our board of directors, supporting and advising our university's engagement efforts. The board is led gleefully by Kara Tridell, class of 2016. Kara has served for the past 2 years as the president of the board, and it's now my pleasure to turn the microphone over to Kara to share a few words and to serve as the award ceremony MC. So please join me in welcoming Kara to the stage.
Matthew, thank you so much. And really, I thank you all for being here tonight. It is my pleasure to be here tonight as the president of your Alumni Association. This is one of my favorite events of the year. The amount of positivity in this room alone is tremendous. We'll be honoring 14 outstanding individuals for what they've done in their careers and what they've given back to Binghamton University and their respective communities aloud. If you take a look at the bios in the program booklet, you'll see what our honoraries have done, and their bodies of work will make you feel proud to be a Binghamton University graduate. Our award recipients are leaders, they're innovators, they're people who make things happen on a larger scale, people who could change the world around them. Some of our honorees will come up to the microphone to speak. Hearing what Binghamton means to them and how the university set them up for success always makes me feel a bit emotional, and it may make you feel the same tonight. Tonight's event is also special and historic because we will be awarding our inaugural Diversity and Inclusion Award. It recognizes someone whose life and work have advanced the ideals of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Yeah. Huge. Binghamton is meant to be a place for everyone. And although we come from different hometowns, different backgrounds, and are living different life journeys, we really are one Binghamton. So, yeah. With that, I am going to introduce President Stenger to give some remarks for us. Yeah.
Thank you, Kara. Welcome to the alumni that are here tonight, as well as your family and friends, faculty and the staff of Binghamton University, administration. I see a lot of deans in the audience as well. As Kara has said, this is a wonderful event, and as Matthew has said, probably the signature event that we look forward to every year. This year it's here, home. And I think that's great, because last year it was in the city. And about halfway through the dinner, I got a phone call that said, hey, they're setting up tents on the Peace Quad. Well, this year, I won't have to drive 3.5 hours back to yell at them, put those tents away, please. Rather, I get to sit here and enjoy the awards, which I missed almost all of them last year, and listen to the speeches of the award winners. Today at the alumni board meeting, I gave my final report to them, and I was proud to show the things that we had accomplished. When I got here 13 years ago, and I met the alumni board, I knew that there was something special within that group. There was a tremendous amount of pride. And the pride was located at the quality of the education that they got, but also the relationships that they built with the friends that came there. I've met so many people who said the first time I came to Binghamton was when I moved in my freshman year. They took a chance. They took a big risk. And some of them are here tonight. They met their best friends when they got here, and they're still their best friends. And also like the fact that we award so many awards to our younger alumni now as well. In fact, I was kidding with Kara. Kara, have you ever won an award? She says, no, I've never been eligible. I'm too young. And now that she's on the board, she's not eligible because she's the chair. But I do enjoy remembering Kara when she was a student. She did a wonderful job. She was one of our roadmap interns, helped us design some new projects on campus, was one of the key individuals who designed the B, the iconic B, where 2,500 freshmen stand on the P Squad in the shape of a B with green and white t-shirts on. So I'm looking forward to all of our awardees tonight. Kara, thank you much for being here tonight, and on with the show.
Perfect. Yes, let's continue the party. Tonight's going to be fun. And so on that note, tonight we have a very special guest. You know what? I'm just going to lower this ever so slightly because I am quite petite. Our special guest, he was the 2020 recipient of the Alumni Achievement Award, Bill Groner. Come on. From the class of 1977, he has dedicated his career to advocating for justice, fostering connection, and promoting societal harmony. Bill spent 35 years as a trial lawyer, most notably representing over 10,000 Ground Zero responders exposed to toxic dust while cleaning up the site after 9/11. The near-decade-long lawsuit, labeled the most complex mass tort in history, gave Bill a singular window into humanity's resilience, selflessness, and positivity in the face of adversity. I'd like to welcome Bill to come forward to give his speech. You can choose either direction. No, I'll take it.
Greetings. President Stenger, Executive Director Winston, Kara, guests, and honorees. It's great to be back here. When Matt asked me to speak, he said, why don't you just talk a little bit about your history, Binghamton, and how it all works together. And I was thinking, yeah, we could do that. We could talk about the education, the experience, the fact that Harvey, you brought us to being in top 10 Ivy. Now, we didn't get the benefit of that 48 years ago, but my gosh, the work that you've done. But then I thought, talking about the abilities for success in life as a result of coming from this amazing institution is a little tone deaf because it ignores the world and society that we're currently in. And this will not be a Debbie Downer speech, but it does set a tone. It's not just the political strife, the racial strife, the pandemic, AI, large language models, the complexities of society that our graduates are going to be facing. It's all of it synergistically. And it's given me a unique interest and focus on human flourishing and well-being. And I want to talk about that. Human flourishing, well-being, my journey, and Binghamton. So in the next 7 minutes, I'm going to try and put that all together. After I graduated here, I went to law school. I became a litigator, as Kara indicated. What I saw from 9/11 and my 10 or 11,000 clients was a we over me perspective and philosophy, and it was a sense of community in our society that really impacted me. After I stopped practicing law when the case was over, I went back to school. Well, I wrote a book. I taught law, but I went back to school 2 years ago, and I got a a master's in applied positive psychology after first getting my degree in psychology here at Binghamton. And the field of positive psychology deals with human flourishing and well-being. And my focus in that process was connection. It happens to be my master's capstone called Connection Mindset. Now, this won't be a wonky science conversation, but what's interesting about the field of positive psychology is it's incredibly intuitive. It's things that we already know. So sure, I did a 60-page thesis with 160 sites on connection, all science-based, all saying things that we already know. I'm fascinated with connection to self, our thoughts, ideals, beliefs, obstacles, emotions, fears, hopes, desires, connection to others, connection to groups, connection to places and things. And in thinking about Binghamton and what it allows for connection, I want to focus on a few of those, not everything. First, let's talk about connection to place. Route 17. The seasons. The 360, spin I did in the ice during one winter driving up Route 17. The nature preserve. The town. The multiple towns. The campus. The buildings. They give us all a connection that will be within us forever. And they provide profound well-being benefits. Connection to people. Roommates. People in our dorm. People in our now Greek world. We didn't have that back then. Connection to staff, Stan Blazevich. Anybody remember Stan Blazevich? He was the College in the Woods dining hall head that I had such a deep relationship with. Connection to the administration. Connection to groups, not just individuals, affinity groups. Back then it was intramural sports and all sorts of activities where we all bonded and connected. Now it's, my gosh, it's certainly the Greek and I don't know how many, I think there's a couple of hundred student organizations. Connection through shared experiences. Back then, it was stepping on the coat. Does anybody know what that is? Yeah, okay. All right, still, all right. It was, boy, the first snowfall where College in the Woods would attack Hinman. It was something near to my heart, Casino in the Woods. Shared experiences bridged to today. Spring Fling, Casino in the Woods. And then I was thinking, God, there's something much more profound here than the connection to the place, the people, the groups. It's the connection, and this comes from my 9/11 work, to community. Community, if you think about the broader Binghamton community, is all of the things I've mentioned. It's the experiences, the people, the physicality, but it's more. It's not these shared experiences, it's not these shared physical places, it's that we all have a shared identity. Now what's interesting, now we'll get a little wonky, is shared identity essentially defines the sense of belonging. And yeah, belonging, I think philosophers and scientists agree, is part and parcel of the meaning of life. So when I reflect on what's this world all about, and when you may reflect on that, whether it's because you read a bad headline, because something happened that was not great during the day, and you need to get a better perspective, or you're taking a walk in the woods, or you're talking to your parents, or your kids, or your friends about what is this world all about. To me, this sense of community, belonging, meaning, all comes from Binghamton. And we are connected to 163,000 people with this shared identity, as well as thousands on this campus. And if one thinks from a macro perspective about life, human flourishing, and well-being, Binghamton has to be part and parcel of that conversation. Thank you.
So we will be officially moving on to the presentation of awards portion of this evening, starting with our Bearcats of the last decade, our bold 10 under 10 awards. Bold is our special outreach to recent graduates of the university. As the full name would suggest, Bearcats of the last decade is for young alumni, like myself, who have graduated from Binghamton University within the past 10 years. The Alumni Association created the Bold 10 Under 10 Awards, honoring, as the name would suggest, 10 people who graduated in the last 10 years. We acknowledge that we have many recent graduates, and they are quickly making their marks in the community. One of these 10 under 10 will receive the Lois B. DeFleur Young Alumni Award tonight. We've kept that a secret for months, and the DeFleur recipient will be revealed at the end of this program. So will still be a secret until the very end. So those who know, please hush, do not say anything. When I call your name, please come to the stage, and once everyone is here, we're gonna pause for a group photo. Okay. Right? Big cheers. This is exciting. It's exciting. Our first Bold 10 Under 10 award recipient is Ryan Baxton. Class of 2021. Our next Bold 10 Under 10 award recipient is, oh, okay. Yeah? Okay. Matt's going to keep me time check. Our next Bold 10 Under 10 recipient award winner is Nicholas Duran, class of 2016, MPA class of 2017. Okay. Our third Bold 10 Under 10 award recipient is Catherine Fry, class of 2020. Aren't the trophies pretty? They're very pretty. It is the clock tower. So those who have not seen them, they are the clock tower in 3D form. They are beautiful and engraved. Yes. With that, our next Bold 10 Under 10 award recipient is Jan Gao, MS class of 2015. Our next award recipient is Majin Gardkun Bana, class of 2015. Our next two award recipients were unfortunately unable to attend tonight's evening. So with Matthew's permission, I'm going to go quicker on theirs. Okay. We have Emily Mackay, class of 2021. Yeah. And we have Sahil Nitai, class of 2016. Next, we have Nicholas Torella, class of 2010, also class of 2011, and MS class of 2015. Yeah. Next, we have Luz Velasquez, class of 2021. Woo. Now, I do need to preface, we had the awards in alphabetical order. So last but certainly not least, we have Christian Wilson, class of 2016. We now let them take a group photo. The Edward Weissband Award recognizes one Binghamton graduate each year whose life, work, career, and contributions exemplify the highest standards of service and deepest dedication to the sustenance of the common good. This year, our Weissband recipient is Mary Ann Callahan, class of 1991. She spent 9 years in Afghanistan, where she was a ministry liaison for a USAID project to bring together the international community and the Afghan government. Mary Ann was instrumental in creating a media company staffed by Afghans who were being trained to report the good news of the country's reconstruction projects. After returning home to Binghamton, she became very active in the community. 1 year ago, she was elected to the Binghamton City School District Board of Education. Here to say a few words about Mary Ann is Steve Steepersod, Communications Director for the Alumni Office and the School Board President here in Binghamton. He nominated Mary Ann for this award. Steve, where are you? Where is he? Oh, there you are. Perfect.
This honestly feels like a dream to be up here right now, and I'm enormously grateful to the selection committee that they felt Mary Ann Callahan was worthy of receiving the Edward Weissband Award. So as Harvey mentioned, this is quite a change of pace for us. Usually in the city, it's great to be here in our hometown in Binghamton at the Binghamton Club. And as you probably know, one of the properties next to us is the Binghamton High School. And back in the day, it used to be known as Binghamton Central High School from back when this great city had two high schools, Binghamton Central and Binghamton North, which is now known as East Middle School, another school that we're very proud of. Mary Ann is a graduate of Binghamton Central and was valedictorian of her graduating class. It's something that I know she feels tremendous pride in. And one more thing about Binghamton High School, since we're here, or almost here, it's next door, I feel it'd be remiss to not mention this, is that just a couple of weeks ago, our boys basketball team won the state championship. Class AA New York State champions. We had the consensus state player of the year, and something else I'm equally proud of, 7 or 8 out of the 12 on the roster were on the high honor roll or the honor roll. You can tell I'm just a little bit proud of that. I first met Mary Ann in the spring of 2021 during her first try to get onto the Binghamton School Board, and right from the jump, I was immediately impressed by her. She said, "Would you sign my petition?" I said in a very, very loud voice, "Yes, I would do it." I was really impressed by her focus on the family, her focus on wanting to have our kids have the best experiences both inside and outside of the classroom, and I felt she was the right energy at a very, very critical point for our school district when it felt like we had some groups that wanted to pull the community apart. We needed to pull it together. And that was one of the best things about the state championship. We united the city around that as the power of sports to do that. And I said, we need to have that in the everyday. And I felt Mary Ann was a very, very critical part of that effort. And fortunately, last year in 2024, we were able to make that happen. And it's a testimony to what the people here in the city value in their education and what they want to see happen. As you read about Mary Ann in the program booklet, and please read the booklet, I worked very hard on it. Thank you, I'm glad you found that funny. As you read about her, I think one thing that will come across very, very clear is through all of her work, the mantra of service above self. It shows through in the work that she has done with refugees here in Binghamton way back when her community engagements first started, then to 9 years in Afghanistan and the very important work she did there, and what she continues to do to this very day in working with many projects within the city of Binghamton, not just the school board, but community development block grants, but still is a very, very vital life link to people that want to come to this great country from Afghanistan to better their lives, and she is here and trying to make their existence better on a day-to-day basis. And I know they're very, very grateful, and they feel very proud of you for what you've done. I know our school kids in Binghamton, they're great kids, and they're very proud of you. And those of us that work with you at the board table are very, very proud of you as well, and very proud of this effort. And also I should mention that tonight we have in attendance our school superintendent, Dr. Tanya Thompson, who herself is a Binghamton graduate 2 times over. And so I can't believe this is actually happening, but this is awesome. I get to say, Mary Ann, please come forward and we'll present you with the 2025 Edward Weisband Award. Thank you, and go Patriots.
Next up, we have our Alumni Achievement Award. The Alumni Achievement Award recognizes a Binghamton graduate who, over the course of a decade or more, has exemplified outstanding, significant professional achievement. This year, our recipient is Miles Pesak, class of 1974. He was the Helen Bernice Brody Chair of the Department of, and I practiced this word, so we're going to see if I could get it right, Otolaryngology? Otolaryngology? No? Sorry. It was a try. I'm head of neck surgery at the University of Cincinnati's College of Medicine from 2004 to 2021. Miles is a recognized international authority on diseases of the ear and skull base. Last June, the University of Cincinnati Foundation announced the completion of the multi-million-dollar Miles L. Pensack, MD, Endowed Chair of Otology, Neurology, and Skull Base Surgery. I'd like to call up Sal Kariwana, who nominated Miles for this award.
Before I introduce Dr. Pensack, I'd like to take a moment to publicly thank my friend, President Harvey Stenger, for the outstanding leadership he's provided Binghamton University for the last 13 years. If I were to dedicate a plaque to President Stenger, and you asked me for an inscription, I would suggest 3 simple words: aspirational, inspirational, and transformational. Soon after he arrived, President Stenger's lofty aspirations became expressed in a strategic planning process for academic excellence called the Roadmap, a project which he led, which included 9 teams, 400 volunteers, and it continues on today. His energy, his enthusiasm, his positivity in implementing the roadmap were unequivocally inspirational across all aspects of campus and academic life. And finally, the results were clearly transformational as he led an era of reorganization and new growth that firmly established Binghamton University as one of the top public institutions in the country. Aspirational, inspirational, transformational. President Stenger led us with great passion, but also with great respect. Respect for the opinions and the needs of others. In what has been a very difficult time for college presidents nationwide, President Stenger has written the playbook for successful leadership and management. I, for one, am very proud to have seen this playbook written and come alive here in Binghamton. I'd like you all at this time to please join me in a toast and to say, thank you, President Stenger, for what you've given us and what will always be remembered as a golden era for Binghamton University. All the best to you and Kathy in the years ahead. Cheers. So now on to the less serious business, my friend Dr. Miles Pensack. And right about now, Marjorie is sitting with the alumni board table and she's saying to her friends, well, maybe it's not a mistake to give a Tau brother an open microphone. Now, don't worry, I won't disappoint you. Dr. Pensack and I said our very first hellos the same way we will probably say our final goodbyes, and that was in diapers. Yeah, it's funny because we were 11 years old at the time. So we grew up on the same block in Brooklyn in families of very modest means. My family's car was my father's hot dog truck. Miles's family didn't own a car, and they didn't own a TV. But we had something that money could not buy. We had friendships, lots and lots of great friendships. Many became lifelong friendships. And after 70 years, there's a dozen guys who we hear from that beginning 70 years ago. The one thing we did have is we had hopes and dreams, and we shared our hopes and dreams and our ambitions, to experience the world beyond West 2nd Street, to experience the world beyond Brooklyn. And our friend Dean Cordiano was here tonight, my classmate. He was dating our high school classmate, Valerie Bavona, who later became his wife before they left Binghamton for Duke Law School. Val was the engine for choosing Harper College. She influenced Dean. They both influenced me. And the next year, Miles came scratching at the door. Valerie passed away last year, and I want to take a moment to remember her, to thank her, and to say, if not for you, Val, I'm not sure Dean, Miles, or I would be here tonight. So thank you. Miles had very strong opinions. He thought the perfect road to medical school was to be a history major. I tried to tell him no, he didn't listen. Then he thought taking a foreign language with a German professor whose reputation was he fails 20% of the class. He thought that was a good idea. And, you know, I was like his big brother. I was a year ahead of Miles, and I said, no. No, actually, what he said was 9. He didn't listen, and that professor blew up his GPA. Nice work, Miles. But Miles did manage to get lucky where it mattered most, and that is he got lucky in love. It was at Binghamton that he met his life partner, Penny Newman, who is a sociology major, and last year they celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. Penny and Miles are here tonight with their children. I sort of feel that connections. I met my future wife at Binghamton 54 years ago. The marriage lasted 45 minutes, but I met her 54 years ago. In tonight's program, you're going to find the details of Dr. Pensac's exceptional medical career, one in which he became one of the world's preeminent, what Kara said, because I can't pronounce it either. I ask you to read what's in the program, especially to appreciate it within the context of a Brooklyn boy's dreams come true. So what would I put on Dr. Pensac's plaque? Well, I would say teacher, mentor, researcher, innovator, textbook author, medical expert, lifesaver, compassionate healer, holder of leadership roles in a major medical college, and CEO of a large healthcare organization. No one word defines him better than achievement. It's my great privilege to present to you tonight the winner of the 2025 Alumni Achievement Award, Dr. Miles Pensac, class of 1974.
So, thank you. A long time ago, I realized that you never know who you're going to follow to a podium. So I never waste time writing anything out. And that's the reason. So I want to make a few observations, and I will keep. Sal said I had 90 seconds, but I'm going to, I might take a little bit longer. So my wife and I were driving up this morning, and we're on Route 17. We passed by the first sign that says Broome County, and what happens? It rains. It was a beautiful drive. I mean, the minute we hit Broome County, it's raining. Now, I reminded some of my friends that on May 5th, when I took the MCATs in 1973, we had 8 inches of snow that morning. So I was quite happy that it was just rain. So let me just digress a little bit. Sal mentioned our friends, and 5 of them are here. They have been friends for 70 years. That's a long time. And to your opening comments about relationships and friendships, I have subscribed to the idea, especially in this society where so much stuff is transactional, that the real definition of a rich life and wealth is defined by the people who love you and the people you love. And so I have been incredibly blessed. Now, I did meet my wife here 53 years ago, but there's a person who's sitting right next to her, and had it not been for her roommate, I wouldn't be here, my kids wouldn't be here, because my wife, my girlfriend at that time, or the person I wanted to be, wasn't sure she wanted to go out with me. And thank you, Elise Newman, for saying to Penny, get the hell out of the room and go out with him. All right. So I am forever grateful for her college roommate. Now, Vestal Parkway today has all kinds of stores. Back when we were here, it had a McDonald's. And one of my greatest memories of being in Binghamton was walking in one evening with Elise's future husband when he demanded a Whopper at McDonald's. And that sticks with me for all these years. So there are a couple of things that I can say about career and everything else. I will tell you that while Sal was right, I should never have taken German. Getting a D your first semester is a tough thing to deal with. But majoring in history, taking philosophy courses, taking other courses in the liberal arts was something that I have never regretted. Now, there is an assault on higher education. There is an assault on health care. There is an assault on science. And you can be very dispirited. I used the term last week with some of our residents about a dystopian society. And then today, I had one of those events take place that completely transforms and takes you out of that mode. So there are a couple of people sitting at Sal's table that I would like to introduce you to. I want you guys from EMT and from Harpers Ferry to stand up. So, as some of you are aware, Sal is sort of the godfather of Harpers Ferry. He and two of his friends were the ones who started it back in 1973. And he invited my friends and I and my kids to hear their story today. And what I heard was not a story of resilience. I heard a story of hope, enthusiasm, excitement about future careers as EMTs, as physicians, as nurses. And it's a sobering fact that in today's society, which is so negative and so filled with vitriol and hate, that at this university, you have kids who are going to be graduates or have graduated or will be graduating, looking to the future optimistically, hopefully, and with the notion that they will make a difference one life at a time. So thank you for this award. Sal, thank you for the 70 years of friendship. Congratulations, Dr. Stenger.
New for this year is the Alumni Association's Diversity and Inclusion Award. As the name would suggest, this award is meant to recognize Binghamton University alumni who have made notable contributions to the principles of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Our inaugural recipient is Nicole Sergiu Johnson, MPA class of 1999, PhD class of 2011. She is the Senior Assistant Dean in the Decker School of Nursing and Health Sciences at Binghamton University, and is the former Assistant Vice President in the university's Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. She has been working professionally at the university for more than 20 years. She has been an active advocate for success in diverse community building, both in her professional capabilities as a graduate of the institution. Nicole was nominated for this award by several people, one of whom is New York State Senator Leah Webb, a Binghamton University alumna from the class of 2004. Senator Webb is not able to join us in person this evening, but she will be delivering remarks by way of a short video.
Hello, everyone. I'm New York State Senator Leah Webb for the 52nd Senate District. I wanted to take a moment to send my heartfelt congratulations to my good friend and soror, Dr. Nicole Sergiu Johnson, on receiving the inaugural Diversity and Inclusion Award for 2025. Dr. Sergiu Johnson, your work has had an extraordinary impact on Binghamton University, our community, state, and beyond. As a senior assistant dean in the Decker School of Nursing and Health Science, as a former assistant vice president for the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, your leadership has helped to shape an inclusive and equitable environment at Binghamton for more than 2 decades. You were integral in establishing the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and your role in securing funding for the university's first DEI conference in 2014, I was there, was a pivotal moment in Binghamton's commitment to these principles. Through your work with the University Education Institute, you've not only transformed the campus, but also reached out to businesses and organizations throughout Broome County, fostering a broader culture of inclusion. Dr. Sergiu Johnson, your dedication goes beyond programs and policies. It's about making a real difference in the lives of individuals, creating spaces where everyone can thrive and feel a sense of belonging. Your work has inspired so many, and it is truly an honor to recognize you today for all you have done and continue to do. Though I cannot be there in person, please know that my congratulations are with you, and I celebrate this well-deserved recognition of your outstanding contributions to diversity and inclusion in higher education. Thank you for your unwavering commitment and exceptional leadership in our community. Congratulations once again on this very well-deserved honor.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much to the Alumni Association for this award, and I just want to say it feels really good to be recognized. It's been building DEI here at Binghamton. I must say I was truly honored to be a part of it. I do want to share in what some previous alumni have offered to President Harvey Stanger. I just want to say thank you to Harvey, because it is his vision that there is a diversity, equity, and inclusion here at Binghamton, and it would not have happened without him. I'm grateful to be a part of it, and I will just say we're all aware of the climate that we're in, and it's hard work. What I've realized and I've learned along the way, you want so badly to be a colleague and to support colleagues at the institution in a space in which you are providing oversight, right? And it's kind of hard because you're telling folks to do things that they don't want to do, right? And so in that, it becomes really hard work. So for the folks that work in DEI in your world, in your prospective fields, check on them. Okay, because it's hard. It's hard work, and now being in the Decker School, I'll tell you, it's the hardest work I've ever done. was to be in that space. And I am grateful for it and all of the difference that I've made in working with alumni and who were former students and some of my colleagues, and to see them. I didn't know all who wrote the letters, but I saw it, and it moved my heart, and timing was everything, and it makes a big difference. I walked into the room and I saw Magine, who is also honored tonight, and she was a student here, that worked in the MRC, and she turned to her mom and said, "This is Dr. Nicole Sergiu Johnson. She wrote my letter to law school," and I said, "Oh my God, she remembers." And it's really so wonderful to actually see the work. You don't always know if you're making a difference. You don't know if you are being that difference, right? But it really meant a lot. I really want to thank Matt Winston and his entire team, my colleagues around the room. I really appreciate you all. It is a joy for me to continue to do this work at Binghamton. I came to Binghamton in '97. I got to marry the most handsome Bearcat ever. And, I heard for some of us it worked and some of us it didn't. But we're still hanging in there. He hasn't, he hasn't decided to get rid of me just yet. So again, thank you all for being here. For the other award recipients, congratulations to you all, and thank you for all that you do wherever you are in representing Binghamton University. Thank you.
The Glenn G. Bartle Award is the highest honor given by the Alumni Association. This recognizes an honors graduate who have rendered outstanding voluntary service to our university community while also serving their communities, careers, and country. This year, our Bartle Award recipient is Jim Bankowski, class of 1991. He is Vice President of Engineering at Google. He has more than 30 years of experience managing teams and developing technologies that have significantly impacted the web. He was a distinguished engineer at Google, leading teams that produce media compression technology. Jim is very actively engaged with the university. He has received the Watson Distinguished Alumni Award, served on the Accelerate Committee, Foundation Board of Directors, Watson Mentor Program, and the Computer Science Industry Advisory Board. Here to say a few words about Jim is John Koch, Principal Gifts Officer.
All right. Good evening. Congratulations to all of our award winners. I have to make two quick programming adjustments, and I'm not going to look at Matt because he doesn't know I'm going to do this. But one, I have to change the name of the award Jim's going to win tonight. No disrespect to President Bartle. It's an appropriate named award, and he still has a library. But yesterday, as Jim is known to do, he was holding court with a group of students, and at the end, a student stood up and said, "Hey, congratulations on winning the #1 Alumni Award." And so that's what Jim is winning tonight, the #1 Alumni Award. And number two, I'm going to apologize for speaking fast because my first draft came out in about 25 minutes. There's so much to say about Jim, but we're going to fix that. So like others have said, I'm going to ask you to just Google Jim. Go to his LinkedIn page, read all about him, because I cannot do justice to his professional resume in a short introduction, but you'll be amazed when you see it. What I can do, though, is tell you why Jim does deserve the #1 Alumni Award. So the ultimate goal, Matt mentioned this before, for a university advancement team is to engage all of our alumni in what we call the 4 T's: the time, the talent, the treasure, the testimony. And when somebody gives back one of those, that's a win. When somebody gives back all 4 in mega generous proportions, that person should be nominated for the Alumni of the Year. And that's what Jim has done. So let me tell you how he did that. 1, the time. Kara just mentioned, keep in mind, Jim is a distinguished engineer at Google, Vice President of Engineering at Google, with 1,000, probably more, you're probably being humble, Jim, probably more than 1,000 engineers reporting up to him. He's a busy guy, okay? But I would challenge anybody to find a Binghamton student who reached out to Jim for help or advice who didn't get a response. Jim replies to every call he gets, hundreds over the years. I'm sure it's been maybe even more than that. but he always has time. In his spare time, I just learned this week while I was visiting with Jim, he sets up video chats on the weekends with our students. So in all the time he has to do everything else, he sets up video chats to go one-on-one with our students. And then every year he makes the trek back to campus, all the way from California to New York, just to make sure he gets FaceTime with the students. Amazing. By the way, what Kara just mentioned, Accelerate Campaign Committee, Foundation Board, Watson West Coast Advisory Board, School of Computing Advisory Board. Jim just does so much for so many people. He could not be more generous with his time. Talent. Once again, I'll refer you back to the homework I just gave you. Go in and look at his resume and you'll see the talent he has. But just when Google buys your company, when you rise to the Vice President of Engineering at Google, and when your name is attached to over 70 patents in the field for inventions or enhancements in video compression, you know you've got talent. But what Jim does is he shares that talent so selflessly with the faculty and the students here, just to give them that little bit of industry edge that maybe he didn't get when he was a student here. But once again, that talent, he just shares it constantly. You can't appreciate that more. The treasure. Jim and Heather are extremely generous donors to Binghamton. We couldn't be more grateful for that. I'm not going to steal Jim's thunder and go through the number of things that they do support, but I can tell you that it's not just one, it's not two, it's not a dozen. It is hundreds of Binghamton students, pretty soon going to be into the thousands, that Jim and Heather's gifts have benefited over the years. Just amazing programs in different schools across the university, and once again, we thank you for that. Can never say thank you enough. In testimony. Testimony is one people might not understand. It's like, what do you do? How do you represent Binghamton? Jim's an incredible ambassador for Binghamton. Everything I just mentioned, but also Jim and Heather have hosted multiple events at their home, inviting alumni from the West Coast to come to their house and learn about Binghamton, get engaged, a huge help to our team all times. And this might be my favorite, is when a Binghamton grad gets hired at Google, guess who they get a call from? The Vice President of Engineering saying, come to my house. How cool is that? I mean, that's fantastic. What can you do more for Binghamton students than what you're doing? So, but I think the way Jim can provide testimony the best is just by continuing to be Jim Bankowski. Because we could be at Stanford or MIT or Harvard tonight, and Jim would still be winning this award, but we're not. We're here at Binghamton, and he's ours, and we couldn't be more proud, Jim. So come on up and get your #1 alumni award.
First, I want to say thank you for the great introduction. John, I'm a little choked up. There's a lot of alliteration in your phrase: time, talent, treasure, and testimony. I forgot the last one a few times. I tried really hard to come up with some alliteration myself. I'm humbled and honored, and hungry doesn't work. I just ate. I really had trouble. Anyway, it means a lot to me to get this award. I know the Glenn G. Bartle Distinguished Alumni Award is, it's a huge honor for me. This award, I know, serves as a memorial to Dr. Bartle, our Harper, I don't know, maybe it's the #1 alumni award, so I don't know how much I can say, but Glenn G. Bartle was our first president and represented the alumni, and this represents the Alumni Association's highest honor. So it's an honor to be here with all of you, but honestly, I'm not sure I deserve all the praise that John gave me. I have this confession. I didn't do all of these things, out of selfless reasons. I think of them as very selfish reasons. I want to have, I profoundly desire to have impact, to help make our world a better place, to do something that I can really be proud of. And I'm incredibly thankful to Binghamton, and specifically to the dedicated people who afforded me this opportunity to collaborate and to contribute to this goal. Individuals like former Watson School Dean Sri Hari, Harper College Dean, Celia Klim, who's over here. We have President Harvey Stenger, James Pederesi, I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, John Cook, Wei Meng, and so many others. And I'm really proud of what we've done together. We made a real difference for so many students and for the school itself. For me, it started with something called decoding. I think that was the first program I started with, but that was aimed at getting a more diverse set of students into the computer science field. With that same goal in mind, we together then later established a Binghamton Codes program in the Harper College. I think it was the first coding class offered in Harper. And tons of students have come out of that class equipped with a whole new set of digital skills. We later took that class and we built out a minor that's called Digital and Data Studies, DIDA for short. That, from what I understand, that's the biggest minor in the Harper College. And I'm really, really proud of that work. That it's equipped hundreds of schools, hundreds of students. I think I heard 447 have signed up this year to get that minor. That also led, I found out that some of those students actually were interested in computer science and not just coding and data, and we've recently founded a computer science minor. So I'm really excited about that. More recently, let's see. I've also gotten to play a part in a great program called Watson Scholars. I've also more recently funded or helped fund sending some amazing students to conferences like Grace Hopper, the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, the National Society of Black Engineers conferences. And just yesterday, I heard from these students how these conference experiences have provided opportunities, jobs, and inspiration that genuinely changed their lives. I've also had an opportunity, as you heard, to be on the Computer Science Advisory Board with Wei Yi, the Acceleration Binghamton Committee, and now the Foundation Board. In all three of these things, I had this great opportunity to meet amazing alum who've accomplished such fantastic things. Now, hanging on my wall at work are signs of my pride in what we've done together. The beloved Bearcat, I am a colonial, but I have the Bearcat mascot, Baxter, proudly displayed on my wall. But also, right next to that, I have notes from students who were thanking me for providing services or helping to provide services that have changed their lives. I also have an article about how Binghamton is now a top 20 school for women engineers, and it's a top 20 school for black engineers. And I also have an article about a capstone project that was done as part of the minor, the DIDA minor, in which they mapped out the best place to distribute food from food banks in the southern tier. And the students involved are working hard on getting that done. Along the way, I have met hundreds of students, as you noted. My Friday and Saturday mornings are actually spent meeting with some incredibly confident, talented students who are looking for advice or maybe just confirmation that they're doing the right thing. I've made many friends over the years through these calls. I'm always proud and inspired by the students. So before I finish this, I want to give special thanks to my wonderful wife, Heather, who's in the audience. Despite having, she has one flaw, she didn't actually go to Binghamton. But she's been incredibly supportive of my part in all of this work. And last year, it was our 30th anniversary. She had great plans. We were maybe going to go on a trip or a vacation, and I convinced her that the best thing to do would be to come here to Binghamton to help celebrate the successful completion of the Accelerate program. So, maybe don't win Husband of the Year award, but so thank you for this award, but honestly, I want to thank all of the folks I've worked with for giving me the opportunity to use my time, my talent, my treasure, and testimony to play a role and have amazing impact and do meaningful things. that we've all done together. And go Binghamton!
Now that we've let the suspense build for the entire evening, it's finally time to reveal the recipient of this year's Lois B. DeFleur Award. The Alumni Association has been giving this award since 2011, recognizing alumni who graduated within the last 10 years or are 35 years of age or under, and who are established leaders or demonstrate potential for leadership. In fact, former President DeFleur has generously created a fund to provide an honorarium. It is no coincidence that the award associated with the prize is $1,946, because our university was founded in 1946, of course. I am pleased to announce Christian Wilson as our 2025 DeFleur Award recipient. He is a principal at Atlas, or you know what, we'll let the clouds go. Let me give us a little bio. Yeah, you could come up, you could come and join. I'm just gonna announce some of your accomplishments so we could celebrate. Perfect. He is a principal at Atlas Merchant Capital, a global investment firm, whereas he focuses on private equity style investments in the financial services sector. Now you join. Yeah, now you come up. And now I unveil his award. And if you want to give a little bit of an acceptance speech.
Okay. Well, I can assure you I did not come prepared with a speech, so that is great. I think it wasn't all that long ago, I was actually having a conversation with my brother about best man speech. Told me I needed to prepare because there's nothing more dangerous than me in an open mic. So just that is a little preamble. In any event, I'm really honored to win this award, I think. I spend a lot of time with the students here at Binghamton, you know, through the format of the Finance Society, Dean's Mentoring Program, and a handful of other things, generally throughout the School of Management. I think, you know, I hear a lot of other alumni say, you know, who graduated in 90, 95, 80, whatever it might be, how long the school or how far the school's come along really since that point. I think it's actually pretty incredible to think how far it's come since I graduated. It's actually really remarkable to think about how far it's come since I graduated. In terms of placement in finance, I think I was one of two my year. That is now what I think Linda was telling me, 31 this year, which is incredible to think about, actually. But in any event, I think incredibly honored to win this award. I want to thank, for sure, my better half, Annie, also Bearcat. She puts up with all of my nonsense, so seriously appreciate that. I have my entire family here and Annie's family here. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Let's have one more round of applause for our award winners, please. And how about a special round of applause for our dazzling MC of the evening, Kara Carter. I do want to say something very briefly about each of the award winners, specifically the signature award winners who we celebrated this evening. If there's a thread among any of them other than just being absolutely amazing individuals, I was also been moved by their passion for the university and their humility. I got to call each one of them and alert them that they had been, that they were receiving these awards. And one, the fact that they even took my call, I take that as a blessing in and of itself, because it was a strange number. They didn't know who I was, and they certainly didn't know why I was calling. But I reached out to Marianne, and she and I played phone tag for a couple of days before I was able to connect with her. Miles, I think I caught him and his lovely bride on a walk. They were taking a stroll and had their cell phone and happened to take my call, and he said, you know, I can't believe, I need to sit down from what you're telling me. And, you know, Jim, thank you, Jim. Jim and I, we had to play phone tag over 4 different time zones, and he let me call him at a weird hour to let him know. Nicole, the good thing is Nicole was here, so I was able to catch her. But I say that to say each one of them, every single one of them, the first words that came out of their mouths were, after thank you is, I can't believe you're talking about me. I don't really deserve whatever you're asking me to be recognized for. And you know, hearing and learning of their accomplishments as you've seen tonight and the things you read in the book, you know that's not true. They have demonstrated not only that they are amazing individuals, but also you know, what you've seen, and I hope you've seen from them, is the sense of passion and compassion that they have for the university and for one another. So we welcome you into this group, I was going to say fraternity or sorority or whatever it is when they're all come together, of award winners. It's an amazing community of former award winners who I think you can see some of them in your program. And we look forward to a continued relationship with you and celebrating you for however often and whatever way that we can. So our night is getting ready to come to a close, and at least here it's going to come to a close. I think some of you probably have some plans after we leave here that we probably don't want to, just don't. I always say this, if you're going to do something wrong, just don't be wearing your Binghamton colors. We just don't want to see that in the news. But I hope you have enjoyed this evening's festivities, and more importantly, I hope that you have been as inspired as I have been about how impressive each of our award winners are that we celebrated. We want to close with a little bit of reflection and a little tradition. Those that know me, you know that I am a stickler for the reverence articulated by a university's alma mater. Alma maters are special. They're special time-honored tributes to the legacy of any institution, and the lyrics are cherished and reflective of the impact that your university has had on your life and how you carry what you take away from your time in college out into the world. The words of Binghamton University's alma mater hopefully have special meaning in whole or in part to the individuals who we say were students for a short time and alumni for a lifetime. Summarized, the lyrics of your alma mater state that Binghamton University is a special place. It's a special place because of where it is and because of those who found community here. It contributed to the successes of its students, and as alumni, your commitment back to her elevates the university's stature. At this time, I'm going to ask you to stand, if you are able, as the university's alma mater will play. The words are printed on the back of your program. You may read or sing along as you might be so moved, or you might use this opportunity to reflect upon the sentiment of the songs and all that it stands for. At the conclusion of the playing of the alma mater, entitled In the Rolling Hills of Binghamton, our program will officially conclude, and you will be released into the community to tell the whole world what a wonderful program they all missed. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for your commitment to this great institution, and let's be prepared to at least hum the alma mater.